The final location was in Council space, hidden in plain sight. The coordinates led to a monument the Council had built 300 years ago. It was called the Memorial to Primitive Species, supposedly honoring the less advanced civilizations that had existed before the Council brought order to the galaxy. The irony was not lost on anyone. The vault that could prove humanity's ancient compassion was buried beneath a monument calling them primitive. When the Promise Keeper and its fleet of supporters arrived, they found Council ships already waiting. But this time something was different. Half the Council fleet did not move to attack. Ships from various species held their positions, their captains clearly divided about what to do. The same admiral from before appeared on screen. He looked tired. "You have caused enough chaos. The Council Senate has voted. You will be allowed to open the vault, but only under Council supervision. Whatever is inside becomes Council property." "No," Taman said firmly. "The vault was meant for humanity. We will open it, and we will share what we find freely with everyone, but it is not yours to control." "Then we are at another standoff," the Admiral said. But before anyone could act, Yunwu's voice came through on an open channel. "Admiral, you should know that I have just released another set of documents." The Council leadership knew the vault was here. They built the monument on top of it deliberately to hide it. Every species in the galaxy is seeing this information right now. Across space, on thousands of worlds, people watched their screens in shock. The evidence was damning. The Council had not just buried the truth. They had actively worked to hide it, spending resources to build a monument whose only purpose was to keep humanity from finding what the Velithrin had left for them. The protests that had been simmering erupted into something bigger. On the Council homeworld, crowds demanded the Senate's resignation. Ships began leaving the Council fleet, their captains refusing to follow orders they saw as unjust. The Admiral sat in silence for a moment. Then he said quietly, "Do what you came to do. I will not stop you." Taman, Jiwoo, and Bora took a shuttle down to the monument. They carried the 2 keys and hoped the third would be somewhere nearby. The monument was enormous, covered in inscriptions about how the Council had civilized the galaxy. "It makes me sick," Jiwoo said, reading the words. They found an entrance and went underground. The tunnels were old, much older than the monument above. These passages were Velithrin construction. At the end of the deepest tunnel, they found a chamber with a door that looked grown rather than built, and on a pedestal in front of the door sat a cryopod. "Still active, still occupied," Bora checked the readings. "There are Velithrin inside. 3 of them. They have been in stasis for almost 4,000 years. The crew," Taman realized. Velthorum was not alone. Some of his people survived. "If we wake them, we might not have enough power to escape if the Council attacks again," Jiwoo warned. Taman thought about Velthorum, sitting dead in his captain's chair for millennia. He thought about the promise that had survived so long. "We wake them. They deserve to see this finished." It took an hour to safely revive the Velithrin. When the first one opened her eyes, she looked confused. Then she saw humans standing over her and she began to weep. Her name was Kelseth. She had been Velthorum's second in command. Through tears, she asked, "Did you find it? Did you find the vault?" "We found it," Taman said gently. "But we need help opening it. Can you stand?" The 3 Velithrin were weak, but they could walk. Kelseth approached the vault door with shaking hands. She placed her palm on a panel that lit up at her touch. Then she looked at Taman. "You must touch it too. The vault requires both our species. Proof that we work together." Taman placed his hand next to hers. For a moment, nothing happened. Then light burst from the door, spreading in patterns across its surface. The 2 crystal keys rose from his pocket, floating in the air. They merged together, becoming a single key that shot into the door's center. The vault opened. Inside was a chamber filled with preservation units, genetic samples from Earth's earliest seed ships, medical research that predated modern restrictions, cultural archives containing Earth's history, music, art, and stories from before humanity reached for the stars, and data cores with the locations of all 12 seed ships, each one containing enough information to advance human medicine by centuries. Young Miai would have her cure. So would thousands of others suffering from genetic diseases. The knowledge inside could save millions of lives, but there was more. The vault contained something else. Records showing that the New Dawn was not the only human ship that had helped other species. Earth's early colonists had a philosophy of cooperation, believing that survival meant helping each other. They had aided dozens of species, shared their knowledge freely, and asked for nothing in return. The primitive, violent humans the Council described had never existed. The real humans had been trying to build a better galaxy all along. Jisoo broadcast everything live. Trillions of beings watched as the truth finally emerged after almost 4,000 years. The Council's credibility shattered completely. Within days, the Senate dissolved, and calls for reform echoed across every world. Up on the Promise Keeper, young Mi received treatment based on the seed ship data. Within hours, her condition began to stabilize. Within days, she was walking again. She cried when she realized she would live. Kelseth and the other Velithrin chose to stay with Taiman's crew. "We have no one else left," she explained. "Our civilization is gone, but maybe we can help yours grow." It would honor Velthorum's memory. They gave Velthorum a proper funeral. His body was placed in a crystal coffin and launched toward the stars with full honors. Representatives from dozens of species attended. Even the admiral who had tried to stop them came, standing in silence as the ancient captain made his final journey. Months passed. The galaxy changed in ways no one had expected. Species that had been enemies began talking. The idea of cooperation, of helping each other even at personal cost, spread like wildfire. Young people across the galaxy started calling themselves Promise Keepers, dedicating themselves to building a better future. Bo-Ra and Jiwoo established an independent research institute. Its only rule was honesty. No more buried truths, no more convenient lies. Daejung opened a flight school, teaching the next generation about courage and doing what is right even when it is hard. Sora became chief engineer on the Promise Keeper, which Taiman turned into a mobile museum, traveling the galaxy to teach people about the real history of first contact. A new memorial was built, replacing the old monument to primitive species. This one showed humans and Velithrin together, with an inscription that read, "A vow kept across 3,189 years. May we never forget that compassion transcends time, and a promise given is a debt that binds the future." One evening, Taiman stood in the command chamber of the Promise Keeper. Hana's voice broke the silence. "Captain, do you think it was worth it? All the risk, all the struggle?" Taiman smiled, thinking about Velthorum and Maria Chen, about the 23 humans who died so others could live, about young Mi dancing in the corridors because she would see tomorrow. "Velthorum's people trusted humanity to do the right thing," he said quietly. "How could we be anything less?" Outside the viewport, stars stretched endlessly in every direction. And somewhere among them, 12 seed ships waited, ready to give humanity back its forgotten past and help build a better future. The promise was kept. The vow was fulfilled, and the galaxy would never be the same. News of their escape spread quickly across the galaxy. Jiwoo's recordings from the memorial station reached the networks within hours. She had sent them to a journalist named Jisoo who worked for an independent news service. Jisoo did not hesitate to broadcast everything. Suddenly, millions of beings across dozens of worlds were watching. They saw the statue of humans and Velithrin together. They heard the translations of Velthorum's logs. They learned that the official council history might be a lie. The response was explosive. Some species demanded answers from the council. Others called Jiwoo's evidence fake. Protests erupted on several worlds. The council tried to shut down the broadcasts, but the information had spread too far. On the Promise Keeper, the crew watched the news feeds with mixed feelings. "We wanted people to know the truth," Bo-Ra said. "But I did not expect it to cause such chaos." "The truth is always chaotic," young Mi replied. She was getting weaker. The disease was progressing faster now, maybe from the stress. But she refused to rest. People do not like learning they have been lied to. They were 3 days from the second location when Hana received an encrypted message. It came from someone named Hyunwoo, who claimed to work inside the council administration. Taimin was suspicious. It could be a trap. "Read it first," Jiwoo suggested. The message was simple. "I know what the council has been hiding. I have documents that prove they knew about the Velithrin vow for over 200 years. They suppressed it because it did not fit their narrative about humanity. I want to help you. Sending files now." The files arrived. Bo-Ra spent hours verifying them. Finally, she looked up with wide eyes. "These are real. Internal council memos going back centuries. They found Velathran records during the first contact period. They knew humans had helped other species. They buried the evidence. Why? Sora asked. Why would they do that? Control, Daejung said bitterly. If humans were already helping others before the Council existed, it makes the Council look less important. It challenges their authority. Taemin made a decision. Send the files to Jisoo. Let everyone see what the Council has been hiding. Within hours, the galaxy exploded again. The leaked documents showed decades of deliberate deception. Council officials had destroyed records, silenced researchers, and intimidated anyone who questioned the official history. The protests grew larger. Several smaller species threatened to leave the Council entirely. The second location was in a war-torn region of space. Long ago, the Velathran had made their last stand against the plague here. According to the logs, human volunteers had fought alongside them, buying time for others to escape. As they approached, they encountered an old Kaloran ship. The Kalorans were an insectoid species known for their long memories and strict honor codes. The ship moved to intercept them. They are hailing us, Hana reported. An elderly Kaloran appeared on the view screen. His voice was rough with age. I am Thorin. I have been waiting for you. Waiting for us? Taemin asked cautiously. My ancestors fought with the Velathran, Thorin said. They told stories of human warriors who refused to retreat even when the battle was lost. Stories of humans who sang Maria Chen's songs while they fought. I always wondered if the stories were true. They were true, Jiwoo said softly. Thorin's mandibles clicked in what might have been a smile. Then you should have this. He transmitted coordinates. The second key is on a moon in this system. The Velathran left it in our care. We have protected it for generations, waiting for humans to come claim it. Why help us? Taemin asked. The Council has probably marked us as criminals. The Council lies, Thorin said simply. My people remember the truth. We remember that humans helped us too long ago. It is time the galaxy remembered as well. They found the moon exactly where Thorin said. The second key was inside an ancient Kaloran shrine. When Taemin picked it up, it began to resonate with the first key. Both crystals glowed brighter. But as they returned to the ship, Council warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel. Not just a few ships. A whole fleet. 15 vessels, Hana reported. Heavy cruisers and interceptors. They are surrounding us. A Council admiral appeared on the view screen. Surrender the Velathran vessel immediately. You are in violation of the Pre-Council Artifacts Act and dozens of other regulations. This is your only warning. Taemin looked at his crew. At Jiwoo, who had recorded everything. At Bora, who had risked her career to help them. At young me, who was dying but still hopeful. At Sora, who deserved a future worth living. At Daejung, who had found a cause worth fighting for. No, Taemin said simply. Then you leave us no choice, the Admiral replied. The Council ships opened fire. Energy beams struck the Promise Keeper's shields. Alarms blared throughout the ship. Shields holding at 70%, Hana reported. But we cannot survive sustained fire from this many ships. Daejung's hands flew across the controls. The Velathran weapons are coming online. These systems are incredible. I can target multiple ships at once. Return fire, Taemin ordered. But aim for their engines. We are not murderers. The Promise Keeper's weapons were unlike anything the Council had seen. Beams of purple energy that could disable a ship's propulsion without destroying it. The crew watched in amazement as 2 Council interceptors went dark, floating helplessly. But there were too many ships. More kept arriving. The shields dropped to 40%, then 20%. Then something unexpected happened. 3 Council vessels broke formation. They moved between the Promise Keeper and the attacking fleet, their shields raised. What are they doing? Sora asked in confusion. A new voice came over the communication system. This is Captain Rael of the Kaloran Defense Force. We will not allow the Council to destroy history. Stand down, Admiral. More ships appeared. Not Council vessels, but independent ships from a dozen different species. Cargo haulers, mining ships, even a few old military vessels. They formed a protective ring around the Promise Keeper. Jisoo's voice came through on an open channel. The whole galaxy is watching, Admiral. Are you really going to fire on unarmed civilian ships? The Admiral's face went red. This is a Council matter. All independent vessels will withdraw immediately. No, said another voice. It was Thorin. His ship joined the defensive ring. You have lied long enough. Let them finish their mission. The standoff lasted for 10 long minutes. The Council fleet could have destroyed all the defending ships, but the political cost would have been enormous. Finally, the Admiral gave the order to withdraw. As the Council ships retreated, cheers erupted on the Promise Keeper. Sora hugged Jiwoo. Daejung pumped his fist in the air. Even Bora smiled, but young Mi collapsed. The stress had been too much. They carried her to the medical bay, where her condition was deteriorating rapidly. "We need to find that third key," she whispered. "We need to open the vault, please." "We will," Taemin promised, holding her hand. "Whatever it takes, we will finish this." They set course for the final location. Behind them, their unexpected allies followed, a growing fleet of believers. The promise made 3,189 years ago was almost complete. Daejung was working on a cargo hauler when Taemin found him. The pilot looked up from the engine he was repairing, wiping grease from his hands. "I heard you were looking for me. What kind of trouble are you planning?" "The kind that matters," Taemin replied. He explained everything about the Promise Keeper, the vault, and the Council's likely response. Daejung listened without interrupting. When Taemin finished, Daejung was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "I left the military because I was tired of following orders that did not make sense. They wanted me to bomb a colony that was asking for help. I refused and they kicked me out." He looked Taemin in the eye. "If you are serious about this, I am in." 2 days later, they had a crew of 5. Besides Taemin, Jiwoo, Bora, and Daejung, there was young Mi. She was a medical researcher who had a personal reason for joining. She suffered from a genetic disease that had no cure. If the seed ships contained medical data from Earth's early research programs, there might be information that could help her. "I am dying anyway," young Mi said simply when she joined them. "I would rather die trying to find a cure than sitting in a hospital waiting." They spent 3 days preparing the Promise Keeper for travel. The ship's systems were incredibly advanced, but they had been dormant for so long. Hana worked to integrate modern navigation systems with the ancient Velithran technology. It should not have worked, but somehow the ship seemed to respond well to human touch. "It is like the ship wants to help us," Jiwoo observed one evening. She was standing in the command chamber, her hand on one of the control panels. The walls glowed brighter when she approached. "Maybe it does," Taemin said. "Velthorum built it to fulfill a promise to humans. Perhaps he designed it to recognize us." On the morning they were scheduled to leave, they found a problem. A teenager named Sora had stowed away in one of the cargo holds. She was small for her age, with bright eyes and grease under her fingernails. "I heard what you are doing," Sora said when they found her. "I want to help."
"I am good with engines and systems."
"Better than anyone at the academy." "You are a child," Bora said firmly. "This is too dangerous." "I am 16, Sora shot back. "And I have nowhere else to go. My parents died last year. The state wants to put me in a facility. I would rather be here doing something that matters." Taemin looked at Daejung, who shrugged. "She made it onto the ship without any of us noticing. That takes skill." "Fine," Taemin said. "But you follow orders." "No arguments," Sora grinned. "Yes, Captain." They left New Seoul Station before dawn, slipping out while the traffic controllers were changing shifts. The Promise Keeper moved smoothly through space, faster than any ship Daejung had ever piloted. By the time the Council realized they were gone, they were already 2 systems away. Their first destination was a dead star system. According to Velthorum's logs, the Velithran had built a memorial station there after the plague ended. It might contain the first key piece needed to open the vault. The journey took 12 days. During that time, the crew got to know each other. Young Mai taught them about genetics and medical research. Daejung told stories about his military days. Sora impressed everyone by fixing systems that had been broken for thousands of years. Bora continued translating Velithran logs, uncovering more details about the humans who had helped them. The doctor's name was Maria Chen, Bora announced one evening. She was the one who worked 40 days without sleep. Velthorum writes that she sang while she worked. Old Earth songs about hope and survival. Jiwoo recorded everything. If they were going to challenge the Council's version of history, they needed proof. She filled data drives with images, translations, and recordings from the ship's systems. When they finally reached the dead star system, they found a graveyard. The star had collapsed into a black dwarf, and debris from destroyed planets orbited around it in chaotic patterns. Navigation was treacherous. "I am reading a structure," Hana reported, "approximately 3 million kilometers ahead. It matches the description of the memorial station." Daejung guided the ship through the debris field with careful precision. Twice they had to blast apart large chunks of rock that came too close. Finally, they saw it. A massive ring station, still intact after all these years. How is it still working? Sora asked in wonder. Velithrin construction was built to last, Bora explained. They believed that important things should survive forever. They docked with the station and went inside. The interior was breathtaking. Walls covered with names, thousands of them. Velithrin who had died in the plague and humans who had died helping them. In the center of the main chamber was a statue. It showed a Velithrin and a human holding hands, their other arms raised toward the stars. Jiwoo found herself crying without knowing why. They remembered, she whispered. They explored the station for hours. In a sealed chamber they found intact records, videos of the New Dawn's crew working alongside Velithrin doctors, images of human children playing with Velithrin children, proof that everything in Velthorum's logs was true. And they found the first key. It was a small crystal that fit in the palm of Taemin's hand. When he picked it up, it began to glow with a soft green light. "One down," he said. "Two more to go." They were preparing to leave when Hana gave a warning. "I am detecting multiple ships approaching. Fast attack vessels. Council identification. How did they find us already?" Daejung asked, rushing to the pilot station. "Someone must have reported our departure," Bora said. "The Council has informants everywhere." Taemin made a decision. "Get us back to the Promise Keeper now." They ran through the station corridors. Behind them, they could hear the attack vessels docking. Council security forces would be boarding any second. They made it to their ship just in time. Daejung fired up the engines while Taemin sealed the airlock. Energy weapons struck their shields as they pulled away from the station. "They are demanding we stop and surrender the ship," Hana reported. "Ignore them," Taemin ordered. "Plot a course to the second location. Maximum speed." The Promise Keeper shot forward. The Council ships tried to follow, but the ancient Velithrin vessel was faster. Within minutes, they left their pursuers behind. In the command chamber, the crew caught their breath. Youngmi was shaking. Sora looked excited despite the danger. Bora sat down heavily, her face pale. "That was too close," Jiwoo said. "It is going to get worse," Taemin replied. "The Council knows what we are doing now. They will be waiting at the other locations. Then we will be ready," Daejung said. His hands were steady on the controls. "This ship has weapons we have not even tested yet. If they want to fight, we can give them one." Taemin looked at Velthorum's body, still sitting peacefully in the captain's chair. The ancient Velithrin captain had faced impossible odds too. But he had never given up on his promise, neither would they. Iwu arrived at New Seoul Station 3 days after her brother's message. She had dropped everything the moment she saw the images he sent. Ancient alien technology, a mysterious vault and a promise made to humanity thousands of years ago. It was everything she had ever dreamed of discovering. Taemin met her at the docking bay. He looked tired but excited. "You are not going to believe this ship," he said, hugging her. "It is like nothing I have ever seen." "Have you opened the vault yet?" Jiwoo asked immediately. "No, it will not respond to me. But I think you should see the logs first. I have someone coming who might be able to help us translate them properly." The someone was Bora, a linguistics expert who worked with the Galactic Council. She had a reputation for being brilliant but difficult. When she arrived at Taemin's docking bay, she looked annoyed. "This better be worth my time," Bora said, not bothering with greetings. "I turned down 3 important projects to come here." Jiwoo bristled at her tone, but Taemin stayed calm. "Just look at the data core, then decide if it is worth your time." They went aboard the Promise Keeper together. Bora's attitude changed the moment she saw the Velithrin script. Her eyes went wide and she reached out to touch the holographic letters with trembling fingers. "This is pre-council script," she whispered. "I have only seen fragments of this in museums. You have an entire database." She turned to Taemin. "Where did you find this ship?" "Buried in an asteroid. The captain has been dead for almost 4,000 years. Bora sat down in front of the console and began working immediately. "Give me time. This will take days, maybe weeks. The grammar structure is completely different from modern languages." She was right. It took 19 days of constant work. Jiwoo helped where she could, cross-referencing symbols with other ancient texts. Hana processed millions of possible translations. Slowly, the full story emerged. The Velithrin had been a proud civilization, spread across 6 star systems. Then the plague came. It attacked their genetic structure, causing their cells to break down. Within 2 years, billions died. The Velithrin tried everything, but nothing worked. They were facing extinction. Then the new dawn appeared. A human colony ship, old and battered, heading toward the outer rim to establish a new settlement. The ship had only 300 people aboard. When they learned about the plague, they stopped to help. Bora read the translated log aloud. Captain Velthorum writes, "The humans had so little. Their medical supplies could barely sustain their own people. Yet when we told them our children were dying, they did not hesitate. They gave us half of everything they had. Their doctor, a woman whose name we cannot properly pronounce, worked for 40 days without sleep. She combined our knowledge with theirs and created a treatment that slowed the plague." Jiwoo felt tears in her eyes. "They saved them." "Not completely," Bora continued reading. "The treatment gave the Velithrin time to develop a full cure. But the humans paid a price. 23 of them died from diseases they could have survived if they had kept their full medical supplies." The Velithrin were shocked. In their culture, species always protected their own first. The idea of sacrificing your own people to save strangers was unthinkable. Taemin leaned against the wall processing this. "So they made a vow?" "More than a vow," Bora said. "Look at this." She brought up another log entry. Velthorum writes, "The human captain told us that Earth sent out seed ships before the colony missions. Automated vessels carrying genetic samples, medical research, and cultural data. Many were lost. The humans worry that knowledge critical to their survival might be gone forever. We have decided to help them. Our fastest ships will search for these seed ships. We will protect them until humanity is ready to reclaim them. This is our debt, and we will honor it even if it takes 1,000 generations." "They found them?" Jiwoo asked breathlessly. 12 seed ships, Bora confirmed. The Velithrin spent decades tracking them down. They built this vault to store everything safely. The genetic material alone could cure diseases that still kill thousands of humans every year. The medical research predates the Council's restrictions on genetic modification, and the cultural archives contain Earth's history from before the expansion wars. Taemin stood up straight. "We need to tell the Council. This could help millions of people." Bora's expression darkened. "That is where things get complicated. I did some research while working on the translations. The Council knows about the Velithrin. There are classified files about first contact with humanity." "What do you mean?" Jiwoo asked. "The official Council history says that humans were primitive and violent when they first left Earth. That humanity had to be civilized by the more advanced species. But if this story is true, humans were helping other species before the Council even existed. That contradicts everything the Council has been teaching for centuries. So they buried it," Taemin said quietly. "They knew about the vow and they buried it." "I cannot prove it yet," Bora said. "But yes, I think so. And if we try to open this vault or search for those seed ships, the Council will stop us. They will say we are violating the Pre-Council Artifacts Act. They will take this ship, lock it away, and we will never see it again." Jiwoo looked at her brother. "What do we do?" Taemin was quiet for a long moment. Then he walked over to Velthorum's body and placed his hand on the captain's shoulder. This person kept a promise for his entire life. He died trying to fulfill it. The least we can do is try to finish what he started. "They will make you a fugitive," Bora warned. "The Council does not forgive people who break their laws." "Then I will be a fugitive," Taemin said simply. "Will you help us?" Bora looked at him, then at Jiwoo, then at the walls of the Promise Keeper. She sighed. "I have spent my whole career translating languages for people who use them to control others. Maybe it is time I translated something that actually matters. Yes, I will help you." Jiwoo smiled. "Thank you." "Do not thank me yet," Bora said. "We need a crew, we need supplies, and we need to leave before the Council figures out what you found." "How long do we have?" "My salvage license requires me to report significant finds within 30 days, Taemin said. "That was 22 days ago. We have maybe a week before they start asking questions." "Then we need to move fast," Jiwoo said. "I know some people who might help. Other researchers who are tired of the Council's restrictions." Taemin nodded. "And I know a pilot. Best in the system. If anyone can help us outrun Council ships, it is him." Bora began copying data onto secure drives. "I will contact some sources who can give us information about Council movements. But understand this, once we leave, there is no going back. We will be criminals. Criminals trying to keep a promise, Taman corrected. He looked up at the ceiling of the ancient ship. Velthorum waited almost 4,000 years. We can handle whatever comes next. Taman guided his small salvage ship through the asteroid field with practiced ease. He had been doing this work for 8 years now, searching for valuable metals and old equipment that corporations left behind. It was lonely work, but he preferred it that way. No bosses, no schedules, just him in the endless black space. His scanner beeped. Something large was buried inside asteroid KX-447. Taman leaned forward in his seat, studying the readings. The object was too big to be natural. It had to be a ship. Hana, what do you think? He asked. The artificial intelligence in his ship's computer responded immediately. The readings are unusual, Captain. The metal composition does not match any known vessel in my database. It could be very old. Taman felt his pulse quicken. Very old meant very valuable. He maneuvered his ship closer to the asteroid and prepared his cutting tools. It took 3 hours to carve through the rock, but finally he saw it. A hull made of something that looked like purple crystal mixed with dark metal. Beautiful and strange. He put on his suit and floated across to the alien ship. Up close, it was even more impressive. The surface had patterns that seemed to flow like water, frozen in time. Taman found an airlock and used his torch to cut through the seal. The door opened with a hiss of escaping air. Inside, everything was perfect. No dust, no damage, nothing floating around. Some kind of preservation field must have kept it this way. Taman walked through corridors that curved in gentle spirals. The walls glowed with a soft blue light when he approached, as if the ship recognized his presence. He found the command chamber at the ship's center. It was a large room with a chair that looked grown rather than built. And in that chair sat a body. The alien was tall, maybe 7 feet, with skin that still held a faint silver shimmer. It had 6 fingers on each hand and a face that looked almost peaceful. Taman stood there for a moment, feeling like he was intruding on a tomb. Then he noticed the console in front of the chair was still active. Green lights pulsed slowly across its surface. Hana, can you connect to this system? He asked through his suit's radio. Attempting connection now, Hana replied. A few seconds passed. Connection established. Captain, this technology is incredible. The data storage is unlike anything I have encountered. It uses quantum encoding that predates the Galactic Council by thousands of years. Can you access it? Working on it. The system has a message queue that appears to be waiting for activation. Should I proceed? Taman looked at the dead alien captain one more time. Whoever this being was, they had been waiting here for a very long time. Yes, activate it. The room came alive. Holographic projections filled the air around Taman. Star maps, alien text, and images of beings he had never seen before. Then a figure appeared standing right in front of him. It was another alien like the one in the chair, but this one was moving, talking. Hana began translating the ancient language as best she could. The words came through broken and incomplete, but the meaning was clear enough. The debt must be honored. Find the descendants of Kalor. Return what was taken. We, the Velethrins, swore an oath to humanity. Though our civilization falls, this promise remains. Inside the vault, we have protected what belongs to them. 3 locations hold the keys. The coordinates are embedded in this message. May the humans find the ship and know that we did not forget. The hologram faded. Taman stood in silence, his mind racing. Humanity? An oath? This ship had been here for thousands of years, waiting to be found by a human. Hana, did you get those coordinates? Yes, Captain. 3 locations. The nearest is 15 days away at maximum speed. But there is more. I have accessed the ship's logs. This vessel is called the Promise Keeper, and it belonged to a captain named Velthorum. The date of the last log entry translated to our calendar was 3,789 years ago. Taman whistled softly. Before the Galactic Council existed. Before Earth even joined the wider galaxy. This was from the time of the first colony ships when humanity was just starting to explore beyond their solar system. What else can you find? He asked. The logs mention a plague that was destroying the Velethrin civilization. They encountered a human colony ship called the New Dawn. Despite having limited resources, the humans helped them develop a cure. The Velethrin were so grateful that they made a vow. They promised to protect something precious for humanity until humans could return to claim it. What is it? What are they protecting? The vault will not open for me. It requires biological verification, but there are references to genetic material, cultural archives, and locations of something called seed ships. Taman's breath caught. Seed ships. He had heard stories about those. In the early days of space exploration, Earth had sent out dozens of automated ships carrying genetic samples, medical data, and cultural information. Most were never found. The knowledge they carried was considered lost forever. If this is real, Taman said slowly, this could change everything. Those seed ships might have cures for diseases we still cannot treat. Information about Earth's past that we have forgotten? Yes, Captain. But there is a problem. According to Galactic Council law, any artifacts predating the Council's formation are classified as restricted. We would need permission to pursue this. Taman looked around the command chamber, at the dead captain who had waited so long, at the systems that still worked after nearly 4,000 years, at a promise made across an impossible span of time. I need to contact my sister, he said. Jiwoo will want to see this. She has been studying ancient civilizations her whole life. Shall I prepare the data for transmission? Yes, send everything to her. And Hana, prepare to tow this ship back to New Seoul Station. We are going to need help translating the rest of these logs. Captain, towing a ship this size will draw attention. The Council monitors salvage operations. I know, Taman said. He placed his hand on the console and the lights seemed to pulse brighter under his touch. But someone made a promise to my ancestors. The least I can do is try to keep that promise alive. He took one last look at Velthorum sitting peacefully in the captain's chair. Rest easy, Taman whispered. We will finish what you started. As he made his way back to his own ship, Taman could not shake the feeling that he had just changed his life forever. He was no longer just a salvage captain looking for profit. He was now the keeper of a promise that had survived longer than most civilizations. And deep down, he knew that keeping that promise was going to be harder than he could possibly imagine.